A girl was moving supplies into the cold storage room when suddenly the cardboard box burst open. The sound of goods hitting the floor perfectly masked the manager closing the door. She found herself locked inside the freezer. It wasn't until the manager turned off all the lights that she realized the danger. She rushed to pound on the thick, heavy door. He turned on the cold storage lighting, but his heart was completely consumed by fear. Since the manager was on a phone call, he didn't notice any other sounds at all. The girl quickly searched for her phone, but it was sitting on the counter outside, trapped in the bone-chilling freezer. She completely panicked, but to survive, she had to find a way out. So the girl grabbed a small cart and began ramming it against the door with all her might. But the door was incredibly solid. It wasn't something she could possibly break through. After ramming for a long time, not only did the door stay shut, but her hands got injured too. As the temperature kept dropping, she kept rubbing her palms together, hoping this method might generate a little bit of warmth. By accident, she felt a movie ticket. The girl looked up to check the time. The last movie showing was about to end. This was her final chance. She grabbed a tray and positioned herself at the door. As soon as the time came, she started banging desperately. People leaving the theater happened to walk past the shop, but everyone was discussing the movie they just watched. The girl's cries for help didn't catch anyone's attention at all. The girl lost her strength. Her hope of survival grew increasingly dim. As the mall lights gradually went out, the girl was completely trapped in the cold. What was even more terrifying was that the unbearable low temperature had already caused her nose to bleed. Before long, she would probably freeze to death. She curled up in the corner, terrified, her heart filled with despair. Soon the girl's palms were frostbitten. Frost began forming on her arms. The girl threw away her watch and removed her earrings, trying not to let these items draw away heat. Then she dumped everything out of her bag and put on her only thin jacket. But this couldn't solve the problem at all. The girl was still shivering uncontrollably. After thinking it through, she decisively tore the jacket into strips of cloth. She found some tape from the cargo boxes and wrapped the cloth strips tightly around her hands and feet, trying to protect the most vulnerable parts. But this makeshift protection couldn't ward off the cold at all. Her toes soon felt a tearing kind of pain. She could only curl up into a tight ball, praying that someone would come to rescue her. Just as she was about to fall unconscious, she suddenly realized the cold was coming from 2 fans overhead. She struggled to stand up weakly. Then she tore open cardboard boxes using her stiff fingers to rip apart the cardboard, getting 2 squares that matched the fans. She stuck tape on the cardboard, found a ladder, and planned to block those 2 air vents. But the wind was incredibly strong. The girl used all her strength to barely seal the first fan when the paper got blown right off. The girl was extremely weak, but she had no choice. The cold wind made it impossible for her to keep her eyes open. She stood on her tiptoes, trying to stick the cardboard in place when suddenly it got blown away. The girl was so startled she fell off the ladder. The nearby shelves also came crashing down, feeling intense pain shooting through her ankle. The girl let out agonizing screams. For her, this undoubtedly made her situation go from bad to worse. She could barely see any hope of surviving.